Welcome back to the Stateless Standard, where we illuminate the shadows of power with the unflinching flame of truth. Today, we confront an institution born in the ashes of one world war, only to ignite the fuse of endless others, the Central Intelligence Agency. For decades, the CIA has metastasized from its modest mandate into a sprawling empire of surveillance, subversion, and domestic overreach, casting a pall over the very republic it swore to protect. Even former presidents, the architects and victims of this beast, tried to sound the alarm. Over the next 6 or 7 minutes, we'll trace the warnings from Truman and Kennedy, dissect the agency's forbidden forays into American life, and expose the chilling continuity in today's threat assessments. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. If you've ever wondered why national security feels like a euphemism for national subjugation, stay with us. Knowledge is the antidote to acquiescence. To understand the CIA's creeping coup, we must first revisit its cradle of crisis. In the smoke of World War II's close, President Harry S. Truman, architect of atomic devastation, signed the National Security Act of 1947, birthing the agency as a humble coordinator of foreign intelligence. No domestic spying, no covert ops, just eyes abroad to avert another Pearl Harbor. Noble intent, perhaps. But as Truman later reflected with a clarity born of regret, noble intentions paved the road to bureaucratic hell. Exactly 1 month after John F. Kennedy's assassination on November 22, 1963, Truman's op-ed graced the Washington Post on December 22nd. Penned in haste, just 1 week after Dallas, he decried the monster he had midwifed. For some time, I have been disturbed by the way the CIA has been diverted from its original assignment. It has become an operational and at times a policy-making arm of the government. This has led to trouble and may have compounded our difficulties in several explosive areas. There is something about the way the CIA has been functioning that is casting a shadow over our historic position, and I feel that we need to correct it. Cynical minds might note the timing. A month after the president's brains painted the grassy knoll, the agency's founding father calls for a reckoning. Coincidence? Or a belated confession from a man who saw the beast turn feral? Truman, no stranger to moral compromises, at least mustered the spine to whisper what others shouted in vain. Kennedy, too, glimpsed the abyss and recoiled. The Bay of Pigs fiasco of 1961, that botched invasion of Cuba greenlit by CIA brass over White House protests, shattered any illusions. JFK, betrayed by the paramilitary playbook of his own spies, reportedly fumed to aides. "I want to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds." He fired Director Allen Dulles, reined in covert ops, and vowed to curb the agency's autonomy. Yet as with Truman's plea, Kennedy's fury met a fatal silence. 6 months after the Cuban Missile Crisis, another CIA-fueled tightrope, bullets silenced the would-be splinterer. The Warren Commission, chaired by none other than Dulles himself, tidied the narrative. Educational? Undeniably. But the cynicism creeps in. When presidents warn of the deep state's dagger, do they live long enough to wield the shears? Fast forward through the Cold War's fever dreams, and the CIA's mandate morphs from abroad to at home. Legally barred from domestic operations by its charter and the Fourth Amendment, the agency nonetheless birthed horrors like Operation Chaos in the 1960s, spying on 7,000 Americans, from anti-war protesters to civil rights leaders, under the guise of foreign influence. The Church Committee of 1975 exposed it all. Assassination plots abroad, mind control experiments at home, a rogue elephant trampling the Constitution. Reforms followed. Briefly. The FISA court, executive orders curbing overreach. Yet as the 21st century dawned, 9/11 became the phoenix for the ashes of restraint. The Patriot Act, bulk metadata collection, fusion centers blending federal and local spies. The CIA, once exiled from Main Street, now partners seamlessly with the FBI, DHS, and NSA in a panopticon of the homeland. Consider the latest dispatch from this surveillance syndicate. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence's 2021 assessment on domestic violent extremists, co-authored by the CIA, FBI, DIA, and DHS. It paints an elevated threat from a motley crew. Sovereign citizens on the right, Antifa and anarchists on the left, even animal rights activists and pro-choice militants in the crosshairs. As journalist Glenn Greenwald astutely observed, this net ensnares anyone who opposes the current prevailing ruling class and system for distributing power. equating PETA's cow liberators, who've harmed nary a soul, with mass shooters fueled by ethnic hatred? It's absurd on its face, a rhetorical slight to justify the jackboot. And the endgame? As Greenwald warns, a Biden-era push to transplant the War on Terror's toolkit, warrantless wiretaps, indefinite detention, drone strikes onto American soil. Violence is already illegal, terrorism prosecutable. But why enforce laws when you can expand the empire? The cynicism peaks in the hypocrisy. An agency forbidden from domestic meddling now leads the charge against extremists who dare critique the state's infinite growth delusion on individual people. Freeing a calf from factory farm hell? Terrorism. Non-violently protesting endless wars? Coercion worthy of rendition. This isn't security, it's suppression, a red velvet glove over a cold iron fist. Republicans murmur concerns. 10 in Congress, a feeble chorus. But where are the Democrats, the self-proclaimed guardians of civil liberties? Silent, complicit, or worse, cheerleading the expansion. As Greenwald notes, fascism arrives not in jackboots, but in star-spangled banners, clutching crosses and KFC buckets, whispering for your safety. Generations of coups abroad, from Iran 53 to Chile 73, honed this machine. Now it turns inward, crushing dissent under the boot of Homeland Defense. Truman and Kennedy saw it coming. A policy-making shadow government, operational in the dark, compounding explosive areas until the blast radius engulfs us all. Their warnings ignored echo in today's threat reports, a blueprint for dystopia dressed as diligence. That's our excavation of the CIA's quiet conquest on the stateless standard. An agency meant to watch the horizon now peers over your shoulder, turning guardians into jailers. If these echoes from the grave unsettle you as they should, comment, Truman or Kennedy, who saw the shadow clearest? Like if you're done with the deep state's daylight robbery, subscribe to Fan the Flames of Awareness, and share this with one citizen still sleeping through the sirens. Oversight isn't optional, it's overdue. Until next we dismantle the darkness, hold your torch high, fade to vigilance, stay free.